Now, what does singleton pattern mean? So Singleton Design Pattern means that one class can have only one instance. So if you create a class called database, the database can have only one object. When you have a database, you only want to connect to the database once. There is no point of connecting to the database again and again. So once you connect to the database, you can query the database as much as you want. So let us code the same example that I just discussed. So I'm going to create a class called database, and inside database class, I will create a static field, private static, and let us name as instance, and this is going to be of type database. So this is a field. Now what I want to do is I want to create a private constructor. So I don't want user to create object on their own, because I only want the user to create one object. So I will make sure that the user will not be able to do new database and create object. So I will make the constructor as private, and what I can do is I can do console.log database connected. So once I do private, now I have only access to the constructor inside the database class and not outside. So now I'll create an instance called getInstance, which will be static. So getInstance. Now this is the method that user will call by doing database.getInstance, and I will return the object. So first of all, I need to check if the object has already been created. If the object has already been created, then there is no point of making the object again. So if there is no object, database.instance. So if database.instance is undefined, then I want to create a new database, and I want to store that in database.instance. So if there is no object, then I'll create an object, and if there is already an object, then I want to simply return that object. I don't want to create the object again. So let's create another method called SQL, just for making it look real. So let us say it has a parameter query of type string, and we will just return a very basic console.log executing whatever the query that user passed. So a very basic implementation of singleton pattern. I hope you understood. Now let us use this class. So let's say, okay, uses. So let's say I want to create an instance. So I will create an instance by doing database.getInstance, and now I will store that in db1. And also let us try creating another instance. So db2 equals to database.getInstance. So let's analyze what happens. When I do first database.getInstance, it will create a new database and then return the instance in db1. After storing the instance in db1, when I do database.getInstance, the condition will fail, and then it will just return the instance that was created previously. So which means that db1 and db2 should be same. So if db1 and db2 is same, then this proves that we have correctly implemented singleton pattern. So this is singleton pattern design. So let's also implement that query method. So db1.query SQL, and let's pass query. So select asterisk from YouTube. So let us implement this. So in my package.json, I have already created a start script. So inside src, it will run singleton.ts. So I can just do, let me clear the console, and I can just do npm run start. Okay, there was an error. So ts node not found. Okay, I need to do npm I. So okay, the dependencies has been installed. We need to create tsconfig.json file. So let us create tsconfig.json file, and inside ts.config.json file, I will paste some default code. Let us save this. Now everything should be fine, and let us do npm run start. And we can see that singleton.ts has been executed. You can see database connected. So, and this is singleton pattern design, which means that the object was not created twice. In fact, the same object was returned in the second time, and we have executing select asterisk from YouTube.